Okay, well, welcome back to my reloading room. Here we are. I ran across a problem again, or a possible problem, and I've decided to finally make a solution to said problem. I'll zoom you in here on the press we're working on building some 223 ammo and show you what the idea is, and I'll give you a quick little look at how we're going to solve it. Okay, well, here I'm holding you looking at about the angle that I'm at, and even if you kind of tip your head in there or whatever, you really can't see down inside these cases at all whether or not there's powder in them. This one has powder, this one does not, and you really can't see anything. Even you get your head right down in here. I mean, maybe if you were to look down, straight down that way into the case with a light on, maybe you'd be able to see it. But the reality is, you can't see down in there. Now, something with a larger diameter bullet in it, with a larger hole in the top, you'd be able to see down in there. Like pistol cases and that type of thing, you're able to see down in there, and that powder level is high enough to the top of the case that you can see it. Well, with these 223 cases, that's difficult to do. Even some of your other rifle cases, it's difficult to see down in there. I mean, I've got a sample of rifle cases over here of different things, and you can't see down much past right at the neck. So unless you're really filling those cases up, you're not going to be able to see down in there. So what's a solution to the problem on a progressive press? For when we can't see into the case, we want to make sure there's some powder in there. So let me show you these cases here quick and see how, I mean, even you get up from this angle, there's a 35 Remington right there. You can barely see down in that. 243, good luck. 308, I don't think so. You know, 22, 250. You know, but then you get to these larger, these are, I think, 500 AE or something, 50 AEs, I think. Those you can see in. You know, here's a 357. Even a 357 SIG, no problem. So, with pistol cases you can see into, larger caliber cases, you know, 458 SOCOM, things like that. I can see down in there and tell, you know, that there's powder in it. So, but I want to make sure that we've at least got some powder in our cases so that we don't end up with a situation of a stuck case in the barrel. It doesn't take a whole lot of powder to get the bullet out of the barrel at least. So we're going to make what's called a powder cop die, or at least a copy of one. I'll take you over to the computer and show you on a screen what one is, and I've got a little sketch of how we're going to make it a little bit different just because of the pieces parts that I have around the house to put it together with. So let's get over to the computer and I'll show you what we're doing. Okay, so here I am on Amazon's site showing a Hornady powder cop die, and you can see for the most part that it's, you know, it's just a regular, it's just a regular shaped die with your 7/8 14 threads on it, with, you know, a little depth lock collar, and then this shaft slides up and down in here depending on the charge depth, you know, depending on how much you're inserting the case into the bottom and how much powder is in it, this rod will come out the top. And the Hornady one has uses, let's see, there's the picture, uses a couple O-rings where you can see this O-ring is set and it goes down inside there, down inside the die. It actually sits down in there. You can see it here on an undercharge where you can't see the O-ring come out. And then you set it so that when you have the proper charge in there, that this O-ring comes right to the top edge of the die, and then if it sticks out too far, you know you've got an overcharge. So that's the idea of what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do that's a little bit different is, instead of using these O-rings like this, just a rubber O-ring you slide up and down, I'm going to thread this shaft to be a 1/4 thread, and we'll adjust it with a couple of with a couple of nuts to lock down. And then we'll be able to get a good sample of enough powder. If not enough, we'll set it so that it just barely, just like this, so that the nuts just barely push up off the top of the die to show us that we have the correct powder charge. If we've got too much powder, you know, they'll come up a little far. If we don't have enough, which is what I'm more worried about in this case, you know, then the nuts won't come up off the top of the die at all. And then we can go, uh-oh, there's a problem there. So here's a quick little sketch of what I drew, how we're going to make the die. It's going to have a counter bore in it for your shell to go up into. We'll get more into that when we actually get to making this sucker on the lathe. Here's where the shaft is going to go up through, a little bore there. This is the general shape of the die. Instead of using a, as Hornady does with their standard locking collar here, I am just going to put a step in the die to run it down all the way, because it doesn't matter. When you run your shell all the way up in your press, it goes to the same height every time, so you don't have to have some type of height adjustment. As long as that sucker is down through far enough that you're getting close to the level of where your shell plate is getting to on your press. Otherwise, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be fine adjust. You make your adjustments on the shaft that pokes out the top to adjust or to show you your powder level. And the other thing I'm going to do is that rod that moves up and down here, this rod that moves up and down, I'm going to take and make the bottom of that rod where it goes into the shell, probably have some threads on it for, I can put a wider foot almost on the end of it, so that when it goes down into a pistol case, it doesn't just push down through the powder. It'll hit it and stop, you know, something. So you can screw a, you know, 30 caliber thing on it, or a, you know, 40 caliber, maybe even up to 50 caliber, so you can, just so that sucker doesn't poke all the way down through the powder and you touch the bottom of the case and it's not going to do you any good. So that pretty much takes care of our little introduction as to what we're going to do here. We're going to head out into the shop / garage and get us a piece of stock in the lathe and get going on getting those counter bores made, or get the bores made in that thing, get the outside edge where the 7/8 thread is going to go, and get that thing threaded, and we'll show you a few clips of that going on. So stay tuned. Alright, here we are back. You can see I got that bored out. I've got it bored out with a 9/16 drill, which is what, 562 and a half or something is the diameter for that. So it's probably closer to like 565, which is perfectly fine. It should be okay. And then I'm going to grab a 300 Win Mag case and make sure it goes all the way up in there as far as I think it needs to. Even though I'm not going to be loading 300 Win Mag on my progressive press, but still, 30-06 maybe. I load some Plinker stuff for my son, and that's about as long as it gets, and it's not too much shorter than 300 Win Mag. So we'll get that checked out, and we'll bring it back. I've got it running here to try to cool it off. It's pretty hot from everything. And what we're going to do is we're going to flip this guy around and then drill the small hole in from the other side. So hang on to your hats. Here we go. Okay, here we are back with this. I got the small end board. I just drilled it with a 1/4 inch drill bit, or final sized with the drill bit. And I cut a piece of 1/4 inch cold rolled, and this end is the end I filed, and it fits. It's not perfectly straight. You can see it wobbling, so we might have to cut a different piece, but for this part, to where it's straight, it slides real nice. So, and we'll we'll take this sucker and put it in the lathe, and when we got to thread the ends and stuff, I'll polish it all up so it looks all purty, and it should slide in and out of there real nice like. And so I think for the most part this part of the die is done. The only thing I'm probably going to do is I'm going to mill a couple of flats on the top for wrench flats so we can keep it down tight. But yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, I know what I can do. Something I haven't used yet. I got a right there for putting knurling on. Maybe we'll try this little bugger out and see how that works. Alright, I've seen it a couple times, never used one, but we'll, this might be a good test subject. So, let me set this up and I'll bring you back. Alright, here we are back. I got a piece of shafting in there. The other one was pretty crooked and bent, so anyway. Here I got her set up, got a little center in the end and everything to support this. But, because what I want to do is I got to turn it down. I'm going to turn it down to about 210. I put the decimal place in the wrong spot if you notice there. I got 2.10 rather than 0.210. But I need to get it under, 224, 223 so it'll fit down the neck of a 223 case. So we're going to turn that section of it down right there to around 210. And then the rest of this is going to be, we're just going to polish it and or turn it down slightly, just enough so that it fits down the hole in the die. I did put a little knurling on here, didn't work very well because China. And so anyway, we're gonna get working on this. Like I said, I'm gonna turn that down and I'll bring you back with when we get that taken care of. Okay, I think we got this thing wrapped up. Let me show you the I guess the check shaft rod, check rod, I don't know, whatever. I'll give you a shot of that here. Okay, here we are with it. Let's see, we got it threaded. A couple nuts on there that's going to set our height slash depth, however you want to look at it. Go out quick. Okay, we got that side set. Only thing I would need to do is I want to put a 10 by 24, maybe an 832 thread in this end, so we can use some little bushings on the end for doing larger calibers, so that this doesn't, when this comes into the powder, it doesn't push the powder out of the way and sink down in a bunch. It just actually dunk and sits and rides right on top. So, all right, we'll get this thing put together here. Here, we'll put it in the, there's how it's going to sit in the die. And you can see that as the shell's going to come up in there, it's gonna, that rod is going to go into the shell, and we set our height on there to adjust for however much powder we're going to have in the shell. So we'll put this thing on the press and I'll give you a couple shots of it working and using, and we'll see how it does. Okay, here I've got it installed on the press, and we've got seating die, we've got the powder cup die right here. We're gonna run through one, and if we watch the stem should pick up just slightly if there's powder in this case. So see, it moved just slightly. Put powder in the next case. Move just slightly. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pretend we forgot one. So this one, oh yep, see, powder in the case. If you notice, I didn't throw the handle. So this one will have powder that I'm seating a bullet in. The one for the die is not going to have powder, and see that it didn't move. So we go, uh-oh. We can take that one out and take a look and check. Sure enough, there's no powder in that one. So let's check this next one going in. Oh, no powder in that one. Oh yeah, we forgot to throw the handle. Okay. This one should have no powder in it. It does not. That one did. See, it moved. You can see it moved just slightly. Okay, so, and then boop, just slightly. Uh-oh, that one didn't move. So we know when this one comes around, we got to check it. Oh, yep, we forgot one in our haste. Oh, there we go. Oh, doesn't seem like there's enough powder in that one. Because it looked like some must have leaked out for some reason here. Okay, so that one's short. We're going to dump him up there. And rotate. Back there. Oops, that's, yep, there. Oh, yep, look at that. See, that one, there's enough. So with that, we'll do one more here. Yep. Good deal. It works. Okay, well, in my haste here, I forgot to put together kind of an outro for this. So anyway, we went ahead and made ourselves a powder cop, powder checking die. It seems to work fine. We'll see how it continues to work. About the only thing that I kind of changed on it from what you saw before was the part that goes down into the shell. I took and rounded the end of that off a little bit, and I might put even more of a steeper angle on it to make it more reliable for going into the case. We'll see how it works. But anyway, we went ahead. That was a pretty simple deal. To be honest, the hardest part was cutting threads and everything on that little 1/4 inch shaft that goes down through the cop. So it goes down through the die. So yeah, we should be good to go. And one other thing I wanted to mention that I didn't before was in my shop garage. It's winter here in Wisconsin, and obviously it's pretty cold out, and I've got a wood-burning stove that I took and converted to run on waste oil. It's a gravity-fed system with an air pump and everything, and it's all set up with a thermostat and everything. So if that's something you all would like to see a video on of how that thing works and stuff, it'd be something quick. Shoot me a comment, and we'll see if we can make that happen. I'll probably do it anyway, just because it's kind of neat and it'd be pretty quick and easy to do. So, all right. Thanks for taking a peek at this. Hopefully it helped and gave you an idea for something you can do to work for yourself. So, catch you later. Bye.